Buddies, you know what time it is. Trying to make some art and continue strong today, carrying over from what we finished with last week. But first I want to take a sec to thank you guys while I got you, those of you who contributed, which is honestly most of you, to Miss Latender's last day. It was really special. She was really moved by it. She had really great things to say about you guys, and you should feel really good. You kind of made someone's day and her semester, man. She's going into her career as a teacher feeling real good about it. So I want to thank all you guys, and the deal still stands, man. If you want to skip a project, say you got a busy day, you can just say, hey, Mr. Locke, I'd like to take this one off. I don't recommend doing that for today's project. This is so good. These come out awesome, and it's just a concept that I want you guys to like spend some time on and kind of understand, because it's going to help you out when you're drawing anything from now on. So it's a big one. We're continuing off from the hand, and we started with a fist. Okay, here's the hand open up. Now we're going to draw this today, but I'm going to make this real challenging on you. These come out cool if you draw it like that, but it comes out even cooler if you draw it like that. You see that? That's called foreshortening. All right, and I got some shadow here, but I took some photos that I'm going to show you guys. That's hopefully going to get you to be able to look at something as if it's going away from you. Okay, so some stuff that we learned about with perspective, like lines kind of leading towards each other. We're going to use that a little bit, but really it's another exercise in drawing what you see. I want to show you the examples that I have, that I took for this, so you can see what I'm working with. Let's see. Here's the first one. Okay, so I just took this photo of my hand, and you want to make it look like it's kind of outstretched, but you also want to see those fingertips. So don't really increase that angle so like you really can't see the tips there. Make sure you can still see like pretty much all the parts of that palm and the fingers. Okay. Now while I got you here, I want to show you a couple other things. The first one is that foreshortening does some really weird and really cool things. Let's think about this. The hand is really tall, right? Fingers are long. The length of your palm is pretty long, but check this out. And I tried to mark off some of these things here. I'll use the tip of the pencil here. If we're saying this is like the low part, like where the hand starts, that's where that first red little hash mark is. And then this is the top of our drawing, okay? And that's the highest thing on there is the middle finger, the point of the middle finger, the end of it. And these other two here, this is where the fingers start, okay? And then this one is where almost like the palm, like that, where that divots a little bit. See that? Creates like a cup type effect. Sorry about the shaky cam here. If you look at the overall size of this, the distance from here to here is huge. My God, is that huge. And the fingers, they only take up, maybe a third of that whole space from here to here. Okay? And you can see like the entirety of the palm, from pretty much the base of the palm, which is here, to right here, it's only a really little section. Okay? So you have to make sure that happens too. We're going to start with these basic shapes. I'm going to refer to these sections as like those meaty sections that we looked at before, where it's really pretty big, it's pretty thick, and it's even bigger on this one. Look at how much the red section, the yellow section dominate this entire space. That's a ton, man. That's a lot. And then I'm going to talk about this as like the mountain range, okay? Sort of this sort of aqua colored line there. All right? And finally, this is a little overboard, but I wanted to show you all of the little measurements that we can make. These are all horizontal lines we can put on there to compare the different heights of all these things. This is just drawing what you see. Okay, so yours might be a little different. Maybe one of your fingers is positioned a little higher or lower, and it's not going to be exactly this. So don't draw this thing. Draw your own. But this is how we're going to look at it, okay? All right, so I said we'd start with those first few sections, those kind of colored sections there, and this won't take us too long today, so there's no need for me to like really speed through this video. I want you to start with those two big basic shapes, okay? And give yourself enough room. We want to draw some of the wrist too. So I'm going to say maybe in the middle of your paper, a little bit higher maybe. We're going to just block in these shapes. Hopefully you can see them. I kind of like put a line here. I don't think there's a line there in real life, but it helps me to break up both of these sides. Look at which one's bigger. On me, it's this one here that attaches to the thumb, which will be over there. I'll darken this a little so you can see it. But these basic shapes, the curve of the wrist will give you some three-dimensionality, and then where the thumb starts to come out, and then the other side of the hand. So if you remember last time we started with those three lines, one of them was here, and then here, and then here. Well, we got two of them here, and this one I really don't see too much of, just because of the angle we're looking at it. Alright, from there, I want us to go ahead and draw that mountain range. Now, here's the thing. Look at how much further up that is from these two areas here, those two peaks that we made, okay? If you took your photo correctly and you're really truly looking like away, sort of like how my hand is like this, don't do this, that's not far enough. Really, you know, look across that thing like that. Once again, sorry about the shadows there. We can kind of see that's just above. So we're looking at, first off, how high it comes. And I'm going to say it's just barely above there, right there. And the second thing is where that mountain range, where it starts and where it ends. Now, mine actually starts, believe it or not, in here. And it ends probably, well, just curving down this way. All right? That's the beginning of basically both sides of the hand that connect to the two outermost fingers, your pinky and your pointer. And then in that space we have another little, at least on my hand, is another little like fold here. So I can put that in there, and then I'm just really going to connect these. Alright, so yeah, I kind of had like three, we call them three mountains there, and that's just mine, you know, draw what you see. And then what I usually recommend for folks is we're going to figure out the height of the thumb. Okay, so look at the tip of the thumb and where that comes. Mine is a little bit higher than the mountain range. We're going to put it right there. And also, where does it start? So I'm going to say there's probably this much of a gap. And we can start articulating more realistically like the actual direction of some of these lines and curves. It's a good part here if you want to start creating like the idea of the wrist coming out. It'll help us to really, I mean, angles down, at least if you held your hand correctly. It's going to come like outward almost. And if we just keep like making all these measurements to like the horizontal and vertical things that we see and blocking them in there, it's going to be pretty accurate, and we're going to have an easier time making those measurements first instead of just trying to draw everything all at once and just hope that we got it right. This is one of those things. You really got to follow this process and really think about all these things that are happening in order to get this to look like it's really going away from you. All right, now this next one, And we did talk about how we're going to do like a bunch of horizontal things, and we're definitely going to do that. But it's really important right now, and if you usually ignore me through these videos, at least pay attention to this. We have to block in the spacing of these fingers. You want to look at where this starts. I start with my middle and my two sides. And then you're going to have 5 marks in total. And then we want to see the 2 in between your middle and your 2 outer ones. Right there. Okay, so I've got nice, spaces for my pointer, middle, ring, and pinky. Now this is the really important part. This is what's going to make or break your drawing as something that's either truly going away from you or not, or looking kind of flat, just like the hands like this. We really have to look at, compared to the thumb, compared to this mountain range, really have to look at where all of these like segments come to, and where the tips of the fingers come to. I'm going to say that the first segment of the the pointer finger, comes pretty much to where the thumb is, so we can put that there. The middle finger is just barely higher. The ring finger sits a little lower than that pointer. And then the pinky is way low. It's like just above that mountain range. Okay, so that's just the first segment. The second one, and do not exaggerate this. Keep looking at other things you've drawn. Look at the overall space you made this, and if it's the same, put it here. If it's a little higher, put it higher, but don't go nuts on it. I'm going to say this is just a little bit bigger than what we had from here to here, just barely. Okay, don't exaggerate that. The middle finger is a fair amount higher. Then the ring finger, once again, is lower than that index pointer finger. And the pinky is actually just above this line I put here. It's actually kind of in line with that. I'm going to put that right here. And then the tips of the fingers, this is even a smaller segment than what I just did. We're going to go here. The middle goes, let's say right about here. The ring finger lined up pretty much with the pointer finger. And the pinky way shorter. It's even underneath this line here. It's right there. I know that doesn't seem right, but that's what's going to make this look like it truly goes away from us. And now we can just kind of block these off and make these really, really realistic, really nice looking segments. Sorry about this music. Some of these songs are okay. This is what I grew up on. Early to mid 90s hip hop. This was not a song I jammed out to. Alright, so you can see what I'm doing here. I'm really using those heights, and I'm trying to actually create like the different segments and looking at the paths that these things really actually follow, and do that as accurate as I can. I'm just drawing what I see. Some of the shadow on my photo, it obscures some of those details. It makes other things like this is really weird and angled. I think that's somewhat part of my shadow that I'm seeing there. Let me tell you right now, just based on mine, probably don't take something with a ton of shadows. You definitely want to see all the details and lines in the hand, but it kind of makes it tougher if you can't fully see everything. And, I'm just kind of, unfortunately, I have to make up for whatever I see there, because there's a shadow that cuts into that. You can see, as I did here, it kind of comes up and then over and then down. That's what's going to give you that kind of like that curve to those segments. And this pinky is really dramatically, if you're gonna have trouble with anything, it might be this. Or the thumb. Sometimes you can't get that thumb to really look like it's, you know, kind of moving away from you. But that pinky, it's just so squashed. Okay. Now, the last thing I'm going to do, you know, you already see this kind of looks like it's going away from you. Last thing I'm going to do is some details here. Most of the major measurements are already developed on here. And this drawing is, you know, near completion. But there's some things we can do to add to the roundness of this, or to do some creases and some wrinkles that you might see in order to get, like, just a more realistic drawing on here. I know I'm not having you guys shade these things. I really do want to see those lines on here, but I suppose if you wanted a challenge for yourself, or if you're really just kind of digging this, and you want to see what it looks like shaded, I'm okay with that. So this is something I'm going to change here. I didn't come in far enough. This thing really does come out quite a bit. All right. Cool, cool. All right, so that's pretty much it. You can do fingernails or anything else like that, but, you know, take a look. It really looks like we're looking at that, like we're extending our arm out, and you're looking down that hand, okay? We call foreshortened now. I told you, this kind of connects to, like, some of that vanishing point perspective drawing that we did. If you look at this arm going this way, okay? Check it out. Boom, there's my vanishing point. Look at this. Look at this. It all goes towards that. Now, is that going to be 100% true for every single hand that people photograph? No, probably not. Some of you might have, you know, a finger that's lifted a little bit more, or maybe they're spread out just a tiny bit, or, you know, your hand is turned or something. But really, that's what gives you that effect that this is kind of going away from you, okay? And these come out really, really good, and gosh, if you nail it, drawing like this is kind of addicting. It's just really, it just looks a lot more dynamic than like a regular drawing. I love these things. I hope you guys spend some time on this and do your best, all right? We'll see you next time.